Some of the challenges, just your staff alone. And then you look at your staff have parents, and they have relatives, and all of those pieces are all entwined. And then when this hurricane, before the hurricane even hit, they said mandatory evacuation. So you've got all those dynamics that are going on before the hurricane even starts. You think you're prepared for the hurricane. The hurricane goes from a 0 to a Category 4+ hurricane in 3 days. You experience things that you've never experienced before, and I really don't want to experience them again, but I can tell you we've learned a lot of things. You learn the most when it's the toughest. I know that's one of my peg lines that I got out of this devastation. That you realize how tough your staff really is, how much what they do means to them. That's probably the most important part of this. How important it is for our poll workers that are our precinct election officials, that without them, you simply cannot do an election. I mean, we had 600 on file to be able to use in the regular election cycle, and we go down to 151 is all that we could get to do the entire election cycle. So when you look at all the dynamics that have occurred, you look at all the devastation that has occurred, and you look at the success that this county just experienced to be able to pull this off and know that their vote did count, it did make a difference, contrary to what any negative media would have said regarding how a vote was cast or not cast. It all had security, fraud protection, and every other element that any other voter would have, with the exception of my voters didn't have homes, my voters didn't have food, my voters didn't have water, my voters didn't have, but they did have an election, and they showed up with over 53% voter turnout, which is 2% higher than when we didn't have hurricanes in prior. But again, it would probably have been even higher if we were able to do additional pieces, get additional communication out. But when it's simply not there, you can only do what's available to you, and you can only perform in a manner that benefits everyone with security and fraud protection in mind with everything that you do. And you do that election, and you don't let the outside naysayers ever change your path or your direction for anyone to feel that there's any inappropriate vote that was cast in this devastation with the magnitude and the checks and balances that we did here in this county. And my staff and my precinct election officials, they need to put themselves in those shoes before they make those kind of comments or decisions. You have to be here to have the same philosophy and the same actions and decisions that were made were in the best interest for the voters in this devastated area.